There's a lot of credible evidence to suggest the NFL covered up the long-term effects of concussions on players' brains for decades, but there's no hiding the black mark of what transpired on Championship Sunday. The unprecedented drama of seeing the AFC and NFC title games both being decided in overtime was almost an afterthought. Ordinarily, Tom Brady winning an offensive shootout against Kansas City Chiefs gun-slinging quarterback Patrick Mahomes would be the headline grabber, the moment we remember the most in 20 years. Sadly, the historic AFC quarterback showdown won't dominate water cooler conversation as much as the most inexcusable officiating gaffe in NFL history. This conclusion is unavoidable. The New Orleans Saints were robbed of a Super Bowl berth by Bill Vinovich's officiating crew in the NFC Championship game. They froze at a most inconvenient time. It doesn't matter whether side judge Gary Cavalletta or down judge Patrick Turner should get the primary blame. In a tied game with 1:48 left in regulation, everybody in striped shirts turned a blind eye to blatant pass interference by Los Angeles Rams cornerback nickel Robey-Coleman against receiver Tommy Lee Lewis. Not only did Robey-Coleman admit he interfered with Lewis, but the NFL conceded to Saints coach Sean Payton afterwards that Vinovich's crew should have also flagged Robey-Coleman for a helmet-to-helmet collision. That could well cost somebody their job, including NFL officiating's R.L. Riveting. It was likely an outcome-altering call. Instead of the Saints getting a first down and being able to virtually run out the clock to set up a game-winning kick, they were forced to kick a go-ahead field goal on the next play for a 23-20 lead. That left the Rams enough time, 1:41, to get a game-tying field goal by Greg Zuerlein, who also nailed a 57-yarder to win it in OT. No doubt, the Saints had plenty of chances to close the door. They squandered a 13-0 lead. Peyton royally messed up time management 101 by not running the ball twice before the terrible no call, which would have forced the Rams to exhaust their remaining timeouts. The game was ultimately decided after former Jaguars player Dante Fowler hit Breeze as he released a pass in overtime, which resulted in an interception that set up Zuerlein's game-winning kick. But the officiating choke job overshadowed everything else. At a time when NFL zebras are coming under more scrutiny for lack of consistency on PI and roughing the passer calls, this one will leave the Saints fan base feeling empty for a long time. It's a game-changing call, said Payton. But for a call like that not to be made, man, it's hard to swallow. Vinovich compounded the bad look afterwards by telling a pool reporter who asked about the obvious PI that he hadn't seen a replay. Hey, Bill, how about taking 30 seconds of your time to watch the replay, so you can take the proper public accountability for blowing the call instead of weaseling out? Oh, while the NFL reviews that play, it might also see Vinovich's crew missing Rams quarterback Jared Goff having his face mask twisted on a scramble to the Saints' 2-yard line. Instead of first and goal at the 1, the Rams had to settle for a field goal and a 20-20 tie. It's not as bad as Lewis being pulverized, but it was still something an official worthy of the NFC Championship game assignment should catch. Look, nobody really expects any officiating crew to be perfect over a 60-minute game. Casey roughing the passer against Brady was a ridiculous phantom call, but one rule must apply: you can't miss the obvious calls. It doesn't matter which official fell asleep at the wheel, only that nobody from Vinovich's crew recognized the severity of what Robey-Coleman did to pull a flag from their pocket. All Payton could do was vent his displeasure at Turner as he walked by the Saints bench. In a situation like that, where it seemed everybody in the world said it, that's tough, said Saints quarterback Drew Brees. It was only the start of a riveting, drama-filled day. While one championship game turned on a blatant pass interference that wasn't called, the AFC thriller turned on a proper call. Kansas City Chiefs pass rusher DeFord was correctly flagged for lining up offsides, which nullified Charvarius Ward's game-sealing interception. Then it turned again in the Patriots' favor when the overtime coin flip came up heads, just as special teams captain Matthew Slater called it. Like Super Bowl 51 against the Atlanta Falcons, number 12 marched New England right down the field for a game-winning TD. He converted 3 third-and-10s with pinpoint passes, 2 to Julian Edelman and another to Rob Gronkowski along the way. Mahomes never got to touch the ball. The drama was beyond spectacular. The Chiefs were one play away from overcoming a 14-0 halftime deficit and going to the Super Bowl. They just made the mistake of giving the greatest quarterback of all time one untimely mulligan, and it cost them. However, as much as Ford's blunder will stick in the craw of Chiefs fans for years to come, it won't be near as talked about and replayed in people's minds as what transpired at the Superdome. The embarrassment of an officiating crew missing such an egregious PI penalty, when the stakes were so high, could very well be a game-changer in a different way. It might force the NFL Competition Committee to reconsider whether to allow coaches to throw a challenge flag for judgment calls or non-calls, which would only delay future games even longer. So a call that should have been the Big Easy will forever haunt the Saints, and put officials more in the spotlight than they already are. It also denied the football world a Breeze-Brady matchup for the ages, an improbable duel between two 40-somethings where one ageless warrior would be assured of winning another Lombardi trophy. So what should we root for in a Patriots-Rams Super Bowl? I'll settle for a great game where the storyline doesn't involve officiating. Frenette at Jacksonville.com, 904-359-4540.